Songwriters. Anywhere. I wrote my first songs when I was 10 years old. I was born in Mississippi, grew up in Memphis, Tennessee, and I was like, I guess probably 8 years old when my dad brought a guitar and told all of us kids, he said, learn how to play this thing if you want to. So I learned how to play it, and I got to where we were very poor, didn't have hardly any money, so I would, when I'd come in from school, I'd put my guitar on my shoulder, and I'd go down to this, we lived in a suburb of Memphis called Binghamton. So I'd go down the street and I'd go in every business playing my guitar, and they would put money in the hole of my guitar, and I'd go in the beer joints and stand with the jukebox and I'd play, and they wanted to hear something. I said, I can do that, and so they'd give me the money. They'd run me out of the beer joints 2 or 3 times, the law did, but I was so little back then, I'd sneak back in, and the people always let me come in. But I'm walking down the street one day, and there's this guy, he walks up and he says, son, can you play that guitar? And I said, yes, sir. He said, can you sing? I said, yes, sir. He said, well, I'm a DJ here in Memphis, Tennessee. My name is Eddie Bond. And he said, back then they called shows jamborees. He said, I do these jamborees all over the South. And he said, I'd like to get you to open the shows. And I said, okay. He said, we got people like Carl Perkins, Johnny Cash, all the people that was at Sun Records back then. He had them on the show. So I said, well, we got to go talk to my mom and daddy. So we went and talked to my parents. Well, my mom, he was her favorite DJ, so it didn't, no problem getting to do the show. So I'm out doing these shows with Eddie Bunn and Johnny Cash, Carl Perkins, all the rockabilly singers back then. And of course, I didn't have my own electric guitar. So every night before the show, Eddie Bunn would go backstage and he'd say, hey, somebody back there, Little Travis, that's what they call me, Little Travis, borrow a guitar. And somebody would give me an electric guitar, and I'd go out and open the show. One night I can remember, we went backstage and Eddie asked somebody, anybody in here got a guitar Little Travis can play? Carl Perkins. He said, I got one, come here Travis, so come over here. And I put it on, it hung down around my kneecaps. I think I was about 5'1" back then. Anyway, he told Eddie, he said, Eddie, hold that thing up there. And I remember he took a pocket knife out of his pocket, and he cut a hole in his new strap, and I played his 54 gold top Gibson Les Paul on stage that night. So Eddie Bunn asked me, he said, do you do any songwriting? I said, yes sir, I've got 3 or 4 I've written. So I let him hear him. He said, well, we're going to go record these. There was a studio back then, it was kind of a basement label of Sun Records. It was called Fernwood Studios. So I went over there and I recorded 2 songs. And at the time, didn't realize it, but I had one heck of a backup band. I had Reggie Young. Maybe some of y'all have heard of Reggie Young, the great guitar player that played on Victor Webb, played with Elvis and all that. He was my lead guitar player, and I played rhythm. And I had Stan Kessler on bass, who later, Stan became the producer of Sam the Sham and a lot of the Memphis acts. And guess who my engineer was? Scotty Moore of Elvis Presley, the guitar player. So at 11 years old, I had one heck of a rhythm section. So I'm gonna do this Sunday. Y'all gotta remember, this is rock and roll from back in then from 11-year-old. So, and I'm probably gonna lower the key today. Let's see here. Y'all can clap your hands if you want to. Get around cats and dig this beat. Got a little woman with the flying feet. When she gets on, she jumps to the floor. Everybody yelling, let's rock some more. Let's go cats, go. Rock and roll is all we know. Pull off your coat, kick off your shoes. Lordy, Lord, Lord, we got the rock and roll blues. If she can do anything that's been done before, bops on the ceiling and she rolls on the floor. Bopped on the table about 12 o'clock. Looks at me and says, I ain't gonna stop. Let's go cats, go. Rock and roll is all we know. Pull off your coat, kick off your shoes. shoot. Lord, 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 we got the rock and roll blues. I said, get around, cats and dig this beat. Got a little baby with the flying feet. When she gets going, she jumps to the floor. Everybody, yeah, let's rock some more. Let's go, cats, go. Rock and roll is all we know. Pull off your coat, kick off your shoe. Lord, 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 we got the rock and roll blues.